It's the fourth day of 2024 and the wrestling world continues to be crazy. I didn't expect to wake up today to see that Dolph Ziggler has joined New Japan, but here we are.
Really, Plana? Oh, really? You didn't see that coming? Well, guess who did? Me! It was on the bingo card. Hey, Editor Mike, put it on the board. 4 days into the year and I already got my first box. We are on our way for a bingo. So now let's plug in. Saturday, February 4th in the beautiful State Theater in Havre de Grace, Maryland. It is the 25th anniversary of Combat Zone Wrestling. There you will see the new Backseat Boys led by Johnny Kashmere challenging for the CZW World Tag Team Championships against Milk Chocolate. Also, Big Boy versus Big Boy. It is Aaron Ash versus the Big Bad Kaiju, O'Shea Edwards. Aaron Ash has had quite the vendetta against O'Shea Edwards since O'Shea Edwards eliminated him in Best of the Best, so he has nothing but vengeance on his mind. But speaking of vendetta, recently Jasmine has been executed from Vendetta and replaced with Micah. And Jasmine didn't take too kindly for that. So, at the 25th anniversary of CZW, we will see Micah versus Jasmine one-on-one. Plus, we are finally going to see it. We're going to put an end to the games. Miles Hawkins is going to put up or shut up as he goes one-on-one with the top guy, Griffin McCoy. Plus, see the knockout artist Brando Lee versus Richard Adonis. It all goes down at the 25th anniversary of CZW in Havre de Grace. The doors open at 4. The bell rings at 5 p.m. and you can get your tickets at czwrestling.com. Sunday, February 18th, it is the return of Super Powers of Wrestling as SPO presents Boss Battles. There you will see the SPO World Heavyweight Champion Homicide defend against Sonny Kiss. You can get your tickets now at SPOWrestling.com, so be sure to join us at the Mitchell Firehouse. That's 300 East Federal Street in Burlington, New Jersey. You're not going to want to miss this one. Plus, I have some YouTube plugs for you. If you head on over to the CZW YouTube page, you will find the Combat Zone Scouting Combine. CZW opened its doors to anyone who wanted a spot on the Combat Zone roster. So see members of the roster taking on these new wrestling upcomers to see they have what it takes to step into the Combat Zone. You can watch the full show now over on the CZW YouTube page. Also, if you head on over to the High Tension Wrestling YouTube page, there's 2 great shows for you there. We have the High Tension Wrestling Super Show. That is 4 companies coming together. That's Smashmaster Wrestling, High Tension Wrestling, CFU, which sometimes spells my name wrong, and Orochi, all combining to make a great show for you. A show where you will see the High Tension Wrestling TV title on the line as Mike Skyros defends against Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Plus, the Campeonatos de Rana are on the line as the Outfielders defend against Wild LLC. That's Ethan Wild and Brian Ace, the newest member of Ethan Wild LLC. You can check that out over on the High Tension Wrestling page. And also, you can check out Labor of Love, a 5th company that is now under the banner of High Tension Wrestling. Their new weekly show will be premiering over on the High Tension Wrestling page, and we will crown a new citywide champion at the WrestleMania show coming up in April. So if you want to see that tournament, you have to head on over to the High Tension Wrestling page. And you can watch all those shows, the Scouting Combine, the Super Show, and Labor of Love right now on YouTube. But don't go now, I have more to say. One of my favorite times of year, it is time for me to tell you the 10 wrestlers I believe will have a breakout year here in 2024. Now, I wanted this to come out a little bit earlier than it's coming out, but I've had a year and a month to kind of scout the indies and try to see who I think is coming up the ladder. And I want this to be very clear. This is the wrestlers I believe will have breakout years. These are people you might not know yet, but will know by the end of the year. This is not a list of the top 10 independent wrestlers right now. I don't think you need to hear me say that Masha Slamovich, Tony Deppen, and Effie are great. And if you do, Tony Deppen, Masha Slamovich, and Effie are great, but that's not what this list is about. We're also going to change some of the rules. Last year I didn't do tag teams. I have a few tag teams on the list this year. I wanted to keep it individuals, but some tag teams really impressed me this year, and it's a lot easier to give a tag team a spot than giving two members of a tag team 2 spots. So there's going to be more wrestlers for you to take a look at. So be excited about that. Also, remember that this is my list. This is based on what I know and what I've scouted. I can only absorb so much independent wrestling in my big head. So if you're sitting there and thinking, hey, where's Jekyll? He was the Supreme Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion for quite some time. It's because I don't know that. I don't follow that company. That's why. So this is my view of who I believe are going to have breakout years. And finally, one last note. Number 1 on this list was going to be Kid Bandit. Kid Bandit blew me away when I met her at Best of the Best. And I was so impressed with her in-ring work. Her fast strike style was something that is missing right now in the world of independent wrestling. Loved her work. Unfortunately, she got injured. In her words, she's currently putting the CTE in cute. So unfortunately, due to that injury, she's going to be out for quite a few months, and she's going to be out for most of 2024. So it's going to be really hard for her to have a breakout year in 2024 when she's nursing an injury. So I wanted to give credit to Kid Bandit. I thought she was absolutely incredible and would have had a great year if it wasn't for that injury. So someone else is at the top of the list. So let's get started. Here are our 10 wrestlers that are going to have a breakout year in 2024. Number 10. My number 10 was on a bit of a losing streak over in High Tension Wrestling, but then he became the Goon Slayer, the one who ended the Goons' undefeated streak in High Tension Wrestling. My number 10 is the main's main, Al De Niro. Al De Niro, not only is his character great, is he smooth in the ring, but Al De Niro will put in the work. Al De Niro is one of those guys that every time he's booked, he's making videos, he's doing promos, he's getting butts in the seats. And he's been making a name for himself in High Tension Wrestling, in Orochi, and in Pro Wrestling R. But for some reason, no one will put a mic in this man's hands. Al De Niro is a top-tier promo. Every promo I've ever seen Al De Niro cut, always on social media, has been engaging, has made me want to see more of him, has made me want to go see the show. So please, I'm telling you, my number 10, Al De Niro, book him and put a mic in his hands. You won't regret it. Number 9. My number 9, I honestly feel like it's a bit of a cheat. I started making this list pretty much right after the 2023 video came out. I immediately started looking for new talent that I thought was really going to have a breakout year. And to be honest, I do believe that they're going to have a breakout year in 2024, but they actually started having a breakout year in 2023. They were recently on NWA Power, even going as far as becoming the #1 contender for the NWA Tag Team Championship. I am, of course, talking about Tommy Rant, Sage Chance, the Slime Balls. The Slime Balls spent most of the year in CZW under not the wing, but the thumb of milk chocolate who promised to make them more succulent. But the slime balls are succulent no more. They have broken free of their chains of milk chocolate and have their eyes on CZW Gold. They've also won gold in NYWC. They were the tag team champions there. They've been making waves in SPO. Everywhere I go, it seems like the slime balls are popping up, and they have a fantastic look, and I mean this in the most supportive way possible. But they're two guys that don't really look like wrestlers. They kind of fit that box of two average-looking guys you're not going to expect much from. And I think everybody immediately kind of connects with those two because they don't look like your normal, just big, muscly guys. These are two people that work well together and formed an amazing team that even when heel, I feel like you can't help but cheer for. So I'm really expecting big things out of the slime balls. Number 8. Now, if you don't know this about me, when it comes to my particular flavor of wrestling, you can't beat a good character. I mean, if you can get it done in the ring, sure, that's great, but if your character is amazing, then I'm engaged. And that's not to say that my number 8 is not great in the ring. She's fantastic in the ring. She has a very unique style that's more strikes and less grappling that I really enjoy. But her character is something that I haven't seen before, and I really appreciate it. She quickly became my hero. A matter of fact, she is your hero, Ademia. Do you get it? Do you get the pun? In my opinion, the one thing wrestling needs more than anything is more weebs. So straight from a manga panel, the girl who goes beyond, Ademia, recently showed up in Combat Zone. And while I've only gotten to see a small sample of her, she was able to make quite an impact in just the little bit that I have seen. And immediately, you want to see more of what she's going to do. She tells her stories as if it were an anime. She has her own YouTube channel where she kind of does anime-esque promos. It's the whole package. It's something new and exciting in the world of independent wrestling that I could really see catching on in the next couple of months. So keep an eye on your hero, Ademia. Number 7. So my number 7 is a bit of an interesting one because last year I came to an impasse. You see, I put Shay McCoy of the Pop Art Flyers on my list last year, and I put Edith Surreal of the Pop Art Flyers on my list last year. But I did not put Weber Hatfield, the third member of the Pop Art Flyers, on my list. And I had to ask myself, do I hate Weber Hatfield? And I looked deep in my soul and I said, no, I don't hate Weber Hatfield. He's number 7 on my list this year, Weber Hatfield. Weber Hatfield has been a fantastic staple in the world of tag team wrestling. He is a 2-time Christmas Trios champion. He held the Campeonatos de Rana in high tension wrestling for nearly 800 days and is the current Wrestling Lab Cooperative Champion along with Shay McCoy as the outfielders. But this coming WrestleMania week, that is the 3rd of April, he'll be competing at Labor of Love in the finals of the citywide tournament, and he'll be taking on Cheeseburger. He has a chance to gain his first singles title, and I think this is going to be a launching point for Weber Hatfield. This will be the moment that will start the breakout year for Weber Hatfield. Weber Hatfield, despite his size, has endless energy, just non-stop with this guy. And the fact that I don't see him more on my TV and in more wrestling rings is a crime, and I think that will be corrected in this year. Number 6. Number 6 is again gonna feel like a bit of a cheat. You see, I went to Combat Fights Unlimited, and that's a company I would never promote because they spelled my name wrong. But I was at this show, and it was a great show, but there was a moment where this one person walked out from behind the curtain. And the air in the room just changed. There is just something about her that you can't take your eyes off her. And I went to Mayday and I was like, why isn't this girl signed? And the answer surprised me. She had been. She was in the Performance Center and the WWE cut her. In the WWE world, she was known as Sloane Jacobs, but I know her as Notorious Mimi. This is a girl who's got the look and can get it done in the ring. I can see in her having that run where she is shoving it in the face of the WWE for being stupid enough to let her go. I want to see her just go on a celebrity killing spree. I want to see her go after Brittany Blake. I want to see her take on Jordan Blade. I want to see her take on Masha Slamovich. I want to see her take on Jordan Grace. I need to see all those independent matches because her time on the independents should end soon. She needs to be signed. The WWE needs to smarten up, or AEW, who's had her a few times on Rampage and on Dark back when Dark was a thing, needs to realize what an asset they have here. Notorious Mimi is the future. And I think it's going to start this year. Number 5. Number 5 is an important one to me because I kind of thought I was done with professional wrestling a few years ago, and then I started this YouTube channel, and I started getting more opportunities, and in 2023, I had more opportunities in the world of professional wrestling than I had in any other year of my wrestling career. But it was interesting. Everywhere I went, they seemed to be behind me. Just every time I turned around, they found their way to every company that I seemed to be finding my way to. And every time I saw them, they were doing something different. Sometimes they were being funny, sometimes they were being serious, sometimes they were singles competitors, but man, are they a great team. I gotta give it up. My number 5 spot goes to Jermaine and All Day James Gray, the Bonnet Club. Now, normally I don't like the parody tag team. That's just, they're taking Bullet Club and changing a few letters. But these two as a team are phenomenal. They already have that great cohesion where they always seem to know where the other one is. And they can brawl, they can fight, they can also bring the laughs. They also won the Cosplay Pro Wrestling Multiverse Tag Team Championships as Grove Street from San Andreas. I mean, look at that. That's perfect. It's so good. The fact that they are so good and they don't take themselves too seriously, that they're willing to take any opportunity and do anything, really shows the versatility of these two. And the fact that they're not on more shows, or maybe they're just on shows that I'm on, maybe that's the problem, is that they need to be around Scott Holiday in order to get booked. I don't know what it is. But book the Bonnet Club now while you can. Don't show this part. This part's not important. We don't need to see them actually winning the titles. Take this off the screen. Number 4. Now, in last year's video, at the end, I asked you who you thought should have been on the list, because I can only watch so much wrestling. And there was a lot of great suggestions in there. James Fowler, Ice Williams, The Real Deal, Austin Davis. But there were 2 names that seemed to pop up more than others. And those were Miles Hawkins and Brando Lee. And as it turned out, the very next weekend, I met both of them. Both of them showed up at CZW, and both of them have been having a fantastic year in CZW. But, in the sake of being controversial, I'm only going to give one of them a spot. And 99 overall, Miles Hawkins has been doing a lot of complaining and demanding that top spot. So I'm going to give it to Young Glory, Brando Lee. Brando Lee impresses me every time I see them. Maybe I just like strikers. Maybe that's just the deal with me, is I like people that can go in there and strike. But Brando Lee has this great finisher that I love. It's called Fatality at the Dojo that looks great every time. He's been knocking out people left and right in CZW. Everywhere he goes, he knocks people out, and I love that. Brando Lee is also fearless. Every time I'm around Brando Lee, he wants to find something to jump off of. That's just the man he is. I'm telling you, Brando Lee, he's going to be a big name, and soon. So check out Brando Lee. Number 3. Hey, this is being recorded at a later date, and my hair's crazy, and I'm sick again. Yay! Anyway, my number 3 was someone that I was actually considering last year. Last year when I made my 2023 video, I received a message asking if he had made the list, and I had to say, no, you were number 12. Almost made it, because I thought that it was possible that this guy would have a breakout year last year, but I'm pretty sure that 2024 is his year, and that is the naughty boy, Max Zero. Max Zero has been feuding for the better part of 3 years with CC Boost, and they finally squared off in a Falls Count Anywhere no disqualification match at Midsummer Nightmare, and Max Zero lost. But I think that is the kick in the pants that he needed to really start turning things around, get more focused, and really make waves in the world of independent wrestling. He's a fantastic singles wrestler. His only singles title is the PPW Heavy Hitters Championship, which he won from Jordan Blade and lost the very same day to Filthy Tom Lawler. Max Zero needs to correct this. I believe that this will be the year that Max Zero really begins to make the ascension into the elite of independent wrestling, and he's not going to do it alone. He is a member of a trio known as Kingsglaive, along with Matt Macowski and Travis Huckabee, and those three together mean nothing but trouble. So be sure to keep an eye out for the very handsome Max Zero. Number 2. My number 2 is apparently going to surprise a lot of people, because I like to do a little bit of research, make sure I have all the facts before I present a person to you. And I was stunned to find out that this person still doesn't have a profile on Cage Match. That stuns me. This person is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they're number 2 on my list here. And when it comes to all the things I could talk about when it comes to this person, there's a long list. I could talk about their physique. I could talk about in-ring ability. I could talk about charisma. I could talk about their high-flying prowess. But for this, I'm going to talk about one thing, and that's noise. It never gets louder in the combat zone than when this person walks to the ring. Their connection with the CZW faithful is unmatched. And as he starts to spread his eagle wings and explore other companies, there will be more and more people chanting, US Quay, US Quay. My number 2 is the American Hammer, Matt Quay. Matt Quay has formed a tag team with friend E.N. Bush to be Bush Quay 24. Do you get it? That means you're old. But Matt Quay is a throwback. He's basically an 80s wrestler, and for some reason it just works. There is something about the energy that he brings into a match that you can't help but cheer for, and he drops a hell of an elbow. If you don't know who Matt Quay is, that's a mistake, and you should correct it right now. Number 1. I'm going to tell you a little story, because you might not be aware of this, but there actually is an independent wrestling world title. It's been created by Independent Wrestling TV, IWTV, and it's a championship that travels. It goes through different companies to be defended on various companies to show that this is the champion of the independents. People like Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander have held this title. It's been passed down, and it is a mark of approval from the independent wrestling world. And in 2021, it was probably at its most competitive. You had names like Willow Nightingale, Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, all fighting for this title, and one more name. One more name that you might not be familiar with because they didn't end up getting signed. Because they got hurt. But they should have been signed. Because they were one of the best of the indies. And now he's back. And for the last year, he's been blazing through the indies. He's been at Beyond. He's been at Black Label Pro. He's currently the Black Label Pro Midwest Champion. Pretty soon, he's going to be on every TV that watches professional wrestling, because my number one is Project X, Matt Macowski. Matt Macowski has a legitimate MMA background and is lightning quick and silky smooth when it comes to his submission game. He's also a fantastic tag team wrestler. He's part of Kingsglaive along with Max Zero and Travis Huckabee. Do I hate Travis Huckabee? I put both Max and Matt on this list, and I didn't put Travis on the list. And I put Eric Ademia on this list. Anyway, Matt Macowski is the future. If you've never seen Matt Macowski wrestle, he is like no one else. He's like a young Kurt Angle. All right, so he's like someone else. He's like Kurt Angle. He's like a quick Kurt Angle with strikes. Matt Macowski, I guarantee you, will be a name you know in 2024. But that is just my list. Leave below who you believe is going to have a breakout year in 2024. Again, it's not who's the best independent wrestler. It's someone you think is going to make a big rise in the world of independent wrestling. Leave a comment below, and maybe I'll do a comment section version of this video in a month or so. Next week, I don't know what we're doing. I really wanted to do a Royal Rumble video, but I feel like that time has passed. So also leave in the comments below if you want a Royal Rumble video or if you want a video on something else. There. Interactivity. Also, be sure to subscribe so you can get a notification when I upload one of these videos. I'm going to go get some orange juice, and I hope you have a great day.